start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I'll ask for a motion to approve today's agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda with one correction. Jessica Sheridan is gone today, and she had emailed this morning asking to remove the recommendation to the DNR on animal feeding operation construction for the corner pork site. So I would ask that that be removed from today's agenda.
Second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Approval of the claims for payment.
I'll make a motion to approve claims for payment 11/6 of 2019.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Utility permits and secondary roads department, Taylor?
I was discussing with BJ, like the Highway 14 is back open, so we were going to remove the speed limit signs on the county line. It did its job. Traffic is way down too now that 14's open, so.
Okay, good.
Yep, so we think it's okay to take them off.
All right.
And, you know, if same thing happens next summer, we'll have that conversation again.
So.
All right.
So now you can send JD out there to get them for impeding the speed limit. Or
And I'd add a couple things. I do appreciate the increased law enforcement presence. I know that it caused some inconveniences for people, and but you know, we had some discussions on the physics and the impacts on the cement with some people. So that was an interesting process, but in the process we've also started discussions with the resident construction engineer. They have verified the Highway 14, it's not going to be intermittently closed. They're not going to have one lane traffic and stuff. It's going to be closed again for resurfacing next summer. So the resident construction tech engineer out of the Marshalltown office did say that they'd be willing to entertain discussions with the county and engineer Rawl to look at detour routes for the future. And so he put us in contact with an engineer in Ames, and sounds like she passed us on to another engineer. So I think it's important that we let people know that we've got the foresight, and we want to, you know, plan ahead for the next round of this, because it's easy to tell that the road did take a significant beating, and the DOT was actually sympathetic. And after I explained the GPS data, you know, they were like, yeah, we really didn't even think of that part. So I think the dialogue that we started is a good thing. So
Me and Bruce went and looked at all the culverts on that 3 miles yesterday, and I can tell you the ditches and the culvert, they haven't been touched since, you know, 45, 50 years when they did the road. So, yeah,
Gosh.
it's
Okay.
in a major need of an overhaul, and yep, we'll have to coincide with Grundy County on that, so it will not be easy.
Is this portion of the road that you had mentioned was just cement laid over dirt,
Yes.
no base?
Yep. 1974.
Okay,
Yep.
understandable then.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes, because if the water can't get out of the ditch, it soaks right into that dirt, and we all know what happens to dirt when it gets wet.
Yeah. Okay. All right, thank you. Anything else?
No, not really.
All right. Okay. Letter to Iowa Homeland Security and Emergency Management regarding the mitigation plan review.
I'd make a motion to approve sending the letter to Director Flynn at Iowa Homeland Security and Emergency Management.
I'll second.
Any other discussion?
Yeah, so last Wednesday, Sheriff McDaniel and Emergency Management Coordinator Creighton and the supervisors met, and we went through the plan and found out, you know, some areas that were in the recent plan that we needed additional work on. And so the reason that this came up now is anytime you apply for federal disaster funding, you have to sit down and review that plan at the same time. So this is just part of the process, and it was very informational and educational at the same time. So we found some things that we can always improve on. So this will satisfy that requirement.
Okay. Julie?
Mitigation action number 1, create a water use ordinance. Hardin County does have a rural water company that provides water to a lot of rural residents, so we have that. Do we need to kind of regulate water use for hog confinements and, animal confinements? Should there be a limit, because it affects, that affects us here in this area? Just questions. Thank you.
We can pass those concerns on to Thomas
And the
regarding
commission.
plan.
Yep.
So, and how will we know that those are passed on?
Julie, your representative is sitting right in front of you. And so when those get brought up at the Emergency Management Commission,
And when will that be?
I don't know when that will be on the agenda for their commission, but Dave, Mayor Dunn is your representative on the commission.
Will this be a meeting here?
They're held
open to
over
the
in the
Yeah.
EOC building.
Yep.
Okay, and there's an announcement in the
Yep.
Hardin County.
Yeah, there's agendas
Yeah.
posted.
The third Tuesday of every month.
Yep. And so Sheriff McDaniel is the chair of that commission.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Okay. All right, so we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
No.
Aye.
Okay, completed fiscal year 2019 cost allocation plan.
I'll make a motion to approve the completed fiscal year 2019 cost allocation plan.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, fiscal year 21 community services budget changes. Lynn?
Morning, Lynn.
Hi. I brought along, I think I emailed you guys this, but I thought I'd bring copies just in case you didn't get a chance to read it. But just wanted to make you aware of, I was just made aware last Friday that evidently the Department of Management has been doing auditing, and they've discovered it's not just in our region, but other regions also. We were under the understanding that because our Friendship Club is a separate program, that it should be kept out of the mental health fund. We would provide services that was under the general fund, and then we would bill back the region. So technically, there was no net cost to the county because we were getting that money back, but we had it budgeted as part of the general fund. So, and on the back page of that handout, you can see there the service area 4, which is the mental health area, where they're saying all expenditures for mental health purposes have to be out of that county mental health fund. Technically, anything that's in that county mental health fund is under the total control of the region. Even though we hold, I know we have money here in the county that the treasurer holds, but in the mental health fund, but that is it's regional money, so we don't really have any discretion over it. So the thing we were told by Department of Management is as of FY21, which will be this budget year that starts next July, we cannot budget the way we have been, which then becomes a bigger issue because if we moved it back into the Fund 10, it then totally comes under the control of the region. So I visited with Daryl Meyer a little bit, and we kind of talked about what options we had. And I've made our staff aware of it because I didn't want them to just hear about it through the paper or whatever. But we're going to have to make some changes. We're going to have to make some decisions fairly quickly because our new budget, I assume you'll be wanting us to get those done in December. I think for initially we could budget the money in Fund 10 in Department, leave it in Department 62, but put it under Fund 10. But by July 1st, we need to have something else done. So really, I think the two options that are viable would be we create a 501c3, a private non-for-profit. We already have an advisory board that could probably become a board of directors. The issue would be, could we possibly still use the county as the employer of record for our 3 staff? Because one thing, because of IPERS, I don't think there's a lot of exposure for the county because they're all part-time, there's no benefits involved, they just get, if they're there, they get paid, if they're sick, they don't get paid. So it's not like it's a, you know, you'd have to worry about covering insurance and things like that. And that way they could keep their IPERS, and then we would build that cost for that payroll into the, reimburse the county as part of the rate. And then the rest of it would fall then under this board of directors. It could also help us in some grants we might be eligible for. I know there's at least one grant that we were gonna apply for that we couldn't get as a government, but if we were a 501c3, we could. So to me, that makes the most sense. The other option would be aligning with another agency. Like I thought of, you know, there's CIR, which does some other drop-ins, but I feel like, well, for one thing, we wouldn't preserve the IPERS because they're going to a private.
Oh,
I don't
yeah,
think. I mean,
okay.
unless they're gonna.
I think you're
They're
correct,
affected
Lynn.
by this too.
Right.
Big time.
Yeah.
And then I think there's 3 programs affected. There's the one in Hampton, ours.
Access,
and West.
CIR.
Well, Access won't be affected because they're already separate, you know, not-for-profit. I mean, they're already established as a, so we would be technically,
Okay. So
we would be
Access
billing
won't.
them directly to the region. So really, the only thing you would have to budget would be just for that payroll. So the amount you would actually have to budget for the Friendship Club would go from like 70-some thousand. I mean, our salaries are probably at least half of it, so it's probably about half. But so I don't know. I don't really expect you to make a decision today, but I guess I would just like you're okay to maybe go ahead and explore further the 501c3 option. Maybe we need to have a meeting, you know, again with Daryl and kind of. I mean, I tried to look up, like online, what do you have to do to get a 501c3. I know there's a lot of paperwork. Attorneys are involved. But if we could keep the payroll stuff under the county, I think that would help because, like he said, he's set up 501c3s for churches. And if they don't have payroll, it's not a big deal, but it's the payroll part that kind of makes it more complicated. So, I mean, if you guys would be willing to consider that option. And I did talk to our current CEO about that, and she was going to talk to the state to see if they would allow that, which I can't imagine they won't because, for example, like CIR has been set up so that CIJDC was their employer of record. So I think the others have done it, so I don't know that would be a big issue.
I'm okay with exploring the
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah.
And I know Daryl's gone for the rest of this week,
Mm-hmm.
but even reconvening next week and talking about it when he gets back.
Okay.
I have no problems having that discussion. But I want to definitely preserve the integrity of the program because, as you mentioned in your email, it's by far one of the highest attended and utilized drop-in sites in the region.
Yeah, and we were one of the first ones, so like we operate different than some of those. You know, we serve some people that the others probably wouldn't like. You know, we serve some people with intellectual disabilities, and a lot of the other drop-ins are strictly just for people with mental illness. So,
Oh, really?
you know, if
Okay.
we changed, it may mean that we'd have to say we can't serve some of those people.
Yeah, and I prefer not to do that at all, so.
And we do have, you know, we originally started the program through that grant, which required us to set up an advisory board, and that's why we did it. But they've been very active. I mean, they've helped us. We raise probably, well, we get 3,500 alone just from the Church Women United. We get community chest funds. We get City of Hubbard gives us money. So I mean, we probably pull in at least $6,000-7,000 a year in donations to help pay for things. And I'm afraid if we went with some other organization like NAMI out of Ames or CIR, we might
That continuity might be lost.
Not want to
Right.
keep putting in that kind of money either. So I'll go ahead and I don't know if you guys want to be involved or BJ is the member of the region. However you
I'm
want to do it,
fine
but
with that.
Setting up a meeting maybe with Daryl to
Yeah,
explore that further.
I'd be happy to work with you and Daryl on that.
Okay.
And
You also mentioned that you could apply for grants if you did go with the 501c3.
Yeah,
What
there's
kind
some-
of grants would that?
Well, I just know like one of them was that those 100 women.
Oh,
Okay.
They can only give money to 501c3 because we had somebody approach us and say, I'd like to propose And then we found out that we couldn't qualify because we weren't a private non-for-profit. So, I mean, they used to get what, 6,000 or 7,000
Yeah.
3 times a year or something.
Yeah. However, you can, as long as you're affiliated with Hardin County, we could be your, I don't remember what the term is, but it would be more or less, they would be giving the money to the county, who would then.
Really, because see, I was told, I think by.
Did you talk, who did you
I
talk?
think it was Carol Colbert.
Okay, well, Carol would know.
And she seemed to think that you had to be a 501c3. But-
Well,
I think there's plenty of other.
but it's like a sponsor.
Right.
It's not called a sponsorship, but there are other
Okay.
entities that have gotten it because they are,
But then there's
affiliated.
foundations out there too.
Exactly.
And a lot of times, and of course, people that give money, donations, they love it if it's 501c3 because they can, it's a deduction for taxes, where if government it's not. If they give to us now, they don't get any deduction for that.
okay.
Yeah. I think opening up additional opportunities that would fund, that extra day of activities or something a little more in depth would be a good thing. I know the situational awareness of the community, what they're doing, is very positive. Look at our, when we have those luncheons and stuff, they're very well received. And so we want to maintain the continuity of the mental health services that we're offering, but that friendship club, the drop-in, I mean, I have people tell me all the time, without that, a friend or family member would probably be fairly lost in life,
Yeah.
and they really rely on that and have for years. So, yeah.
Okay.
So if you guys want me to just work with Lynn and Daryl and get something and bring it back, and we'll probably, with the Friends Forever and then the Story County, we could probably collaborate with them and see what is going to work and what not work, and not try to reinvent the wheel at all three. So,
Yes.
okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you,
All right,
Lynn.
thank you.
You'd probably have something back to us. How long? What time frames are you looking at?
Within a month,
Okay.
Yeah.
for sure.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. WageWorks, flexible benefits agreement for 2020.
I'd make a motion to approve the WageWorks flexible benefits agreement for 2020 as presented by Rebecca.
I'll second.
Any other discussion?
And I did ask if online enrollment might be a possibility, but I asked Becca not to worry about that until we get through the election and get
Yeah.
things settled. So she was
Okay.
going to see if that was an option instead of having to try to collect hard copies from everybody. So,
Okay. But I would think that, they're still going to have to sign the the form.
it might be electronic
Unless it's
signature.
electronic
Yeah,
signature.
we'll
Yeah,
see.
you're right.
But
Yep. True.
yep.
Julie?
What is that? WageWorks flexible benefits, what is that?
It's a program where employees can sign up to have a deduction made out of their payroll, and then that goes to a flexible benefits card, like a credit card that they can use to pay for doctors and medications and
Yeah, I
such.
get that, thanks.
Okay.
Don't they still do childcare?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dependent
Yes,
care.
you're right.
There's a
Yes.
limit, but you can have so much money kept but you can turn on and use for childcare services.
True. I always forget that, yeah. Okay. Did we do a vote on that?
No.
I don't think so. Okay, so all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Auditor's monthly report.
I'll move to approve the auditor's monthly report of October 2019.
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
And great work out of the whole team on the election yesterday. Angela, you survived, and I know I didn't hear any complaints, and that's a great thing, so
Yep.
great job.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 Recorder's monthly report.
I'd make a motion to accept the Recorder's monthly report as presented.
I will second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Okay, next we have a consideration for directing the Hardin County Attorney to review any recommendation or action amending ordinance number 29.
I'd make a motion directing Hardin County Attorney Darrell Meyer to review for the purpose of making any recommended action or amending ordinance number 29, Article 23 of the non-commercial wind energy conversion system permitted uses and commercial conditional use wind energy conversion system standards.
I will second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Are there any public comments?
So what did you try to accomplish with this last energy review?
It is more or less our wind energy ordinance. He's reviewing the wind energy ordinance as far as, the wind turbines.
Some things you may want to change in the ordinance. Let's hear what his recommendation is on the changes. We're just directing him to give us some recommendations.
It's from 2012.
Excuse me. Julie?
What is our current,
Ordinance.
say? Does it,
There's,
It's a lot, but it's on file.
just a short, does Hardin County invite them or not? Or do they just,
Well, evidently, because I think we did that ordinance just prior to the turbines being placed over at Radcliffe. So,
Because you can just look, you can see the county line by wind turbines on one side and not very many on the other. So I
So-
just was curious as to.
being as the ordinance was that old, we're just we'll have Darrell review it and make any recommendations for changes or.
So we currently
Or whatever.
kind of discourage it. Is that a fair
No.
assumption?
No, because this
No.
was done prior to the turbines over in the west end of the county, and they were allowed.
So it
So-
would be our utility company then, it's just such a stark difference. I just didn't know what our current ordinance said.
Yeah.
Micah-
And that is.
Micah,
I
would
would
you
just say it's
post-
easiest to look at it.
It's available online.
Okay.
As far as I know.
Okay.
I'll make sure,
a hyperlink or something to it.
probably under the zoning ordinances,
Yeah.
because it's part of the zoning ordinances.
Yep.
So it just it sets out the requirements for submission of plans, setbacks, sizes, that kind of stuff.
Oh, okay, thanks.
But, things can change in 7 years, so it's always
Oh,
good to
sure.
review.
It is.
Okay, any
But I
other,
will make sure it is there.
okay. Any other public comments? Okay, any other business?
Nope.
All right, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye.